What's going on, guys? How are you? You guys hear me okay? Oh, I need to turn the music down. Turn the music way down. How are you? Can everybody hear me? How's the music level? I just turned it down. Let me know how everything's sounding, how everything's going through. We're testing out a new internet connection here. So let me know how it's turning out. You can hear me, everything is sounding okay. Once I get a couple thumbs up or whatever, an acknowledgement, we'll get started into the subject. As you can see, we're finally going to talk about the thing. We are going to talk about today cancel pre-orders by retailers, by future stock, pauses that are happening on retailers across different companies, how this is going to affect your collecting, how this is going to affect small retailers, how this is going to affect big retailers, how this is going to affect your favorite YouTubers on YouTube, you know, following this whole collecting journey. This is kind of what we're going to talk about today. So before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat today. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here. If you guys missed it last night, I was live on Mars's channel, so Mountain Arts Reviews. If you follow him, jump over there. I live streamed with him last night. We talked everything about Evo. Evo is starting in Japan, I think today, which is pretty cool. So big fighting game tournament and everything. If you're a fighting game fan, you follow Storm Collectibles or anything like that, go over there. I got enlightened a lot last night about that subject, which was really cool. And we talked a little bit about anime, a little bit about Dragon Ball stuff. But we're gonna jump in. Let's talk about a couple things before we talk about before we jump in and we talk about like the big subject of the night. I just want to kind of talk about everything coming up, anything that you do already have pre-ordered, some of these things coming in. Like I just got my Grandma Sonate a couple days ago, so there are still things that you may have pre-ordered that are still coming in for what you paid for them. You're not hitting those tariffs yet, you're not getting those cancellations, stuff like that. So I want to talk about a couple things that are on the horizon that I think that we may or may not just skate by with all this craziness going on. So first things first, we're going to go over to Instagram. We're going to follow, we're going to go to Instant Amashi. There was this guy that was announced. Evo Japan 2025 is here. SH Figuarts Tekken 8 line is adding King to the release date. Was just released in April 26th on display. So he is coming. Evo is running from May 9th through May 11th. So here in the States, closer to the 8th to the 10th it's going to run, but they showed off King on display over there. More information to come on King, so if you're a Tekken fan, pretty cool release, I think there. It just depends on when he's going to come out and how it's going to be impacted. Here's some big ones in the anime community. We've got the I want to say East Blue, but that's not it. The Egghead Island version of Luffy, and also the Daima adult version of Vegeta. They are coming out May 24th in Japan. These are usually going to be 2 to 4 weeks behind for the States, so expect them sometime in June if you have it from a domestic retailer. Kappa, Big Bad, all of them. $35 a piece, I believe, on both of them. I haven't heard any difference on if these ones are going to be affected because they are in May, early June. They might. Really, I think you're going to start seeing a lot of your figure stuff either getting impacted by they're canceling them, they're no longer taking pre-orders for them, or they may get increased stuff a little bit further down the road, maybe in July. I think June is kind of a toss-up. Maybe early June you'll be fine, late June you won't be. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait for that hammer to drop and what all the news is going to say. But, you know, if you are importing it, May 24th, the Vegeta and the Luffy, I think you should be fine. I think some of these, I don't know who they are. You got a Godzilla coming out May 31st. You got Gintama and Hinata coming out in late May. These will be later June. I do have a Hinata pre-ordered. I thought about getting getting the Gintoma figure just because he looks so cool, and I've heard his show is really good, but I think I'm gonna have to pass because we might actually get hit with those tariff increases. So she was $68, $69 through Kappa. I don't know what that's gonna put her at later down the road, but she's coming out in May, so if you import it, you might be okay. If you got it from a domestic retailer, you might be impacted as well. So let's see what else is on here first. I want to get all the positive stuff out of the way. If you guys are wanting Nail from Premium Bandai, that is still up right now. He's $80 plus $80 plus $10 shipping plus whatever tax. It cost me $95. This is an awesome looking figure, and if you're a Dragon Ball Z collector, I definitely feel like this is a piece you want in your Namekian set. However, $95 is kind of expensive, especially when it comes to, this is kind of a repaint Nail, or a repaint Piccolo is what I've heard somebody call it last night on Mars's stream, which is pretty much what it is. I mean, I look at this character and I can tell it's Nail, but for $95 with the shipping and the tax and all that, I'm not sure when he's going to come out. We can take a look at that real quick. Let me bring up Premium Bandai real quick, because that's gonna get us a better idea when he's gonna come out. Once we get through all the new stuff, guys, I'll hit comments. But thank you so much, Scythe 427, for being here. Pre-orders opened April 4th, November release. So we're definitely going to be deep into what's going on with the tariffs, but we might be on the back end of it. I'm not sure how long this incident's going to last, or if it's going to last. It might be our new normal as well going forward. But Nail is also out there for pre-order if anybody's interested, which is really sweet. Let's see. I gotta get back to Instagram here. There is a brand new Luffy announced through Instagram here. This one. This is the Monkey D. Luffy Gear 5 Future Island Egghead. Basically, the only difference between this version of Luffy and the other Gear 5 version is he's got his hockey parts. You can see the hockey on his hands and his feet. Both left, right leg are extended. Get all four. Let me just go to the big picture here at the end. I love it when they do this because we can just look at one picture and really tell everything that you get. So you're getting a left and a right leg and a left and right arm. They're going to be that bendable, just like the Gum parts, but they do have the hockey ends. You get a shirtless version of 5th gear Luffy, and you get his running really fast legs, his goofy faces. Get a goofy face for your Egghead Island Luffy. You get 4 faces for Gear 5, and then of course you get an optional headpiece, which comes with the goggles. I just don't know if this was needed. I don't know if we needed another Gear 5 Luffy. I think what would have been really cool is if they just took our Gum set that we just got, and just, if they would have just reprinted that with all hockey ends, like just black tipped all of the other, those Gum parts, I think that would have worked a lot better in my opinion. But of course there's an opportunity with this new Luffy that it's going to add a lot more, I want to say, like, maybe better engineering, maybe the figure works a little bit better. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I mean, people that are One Piece fans are really cooking right now. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. So that's Luffy coming. Just want to show this shot off real quick, which I think is really sweet. It is the Sannin. You got your Jiraiya, got our Tsunade, and of course Orochimaru. I actually just got, like I showed you just a second ago, got Tsunade in. I have this Jiraiya. This is I think the Comic-Con version that was re-released. I don't think this is the Sage mode. So that one for me is going to go completely Sage mode, and then I'll have my other one for setting up the Sannin. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. For the Star Wars fans out there, they've got it's going to be this one. It is going to be General Grievous coming out November 25th. Pre-orders are already open. I don't know. Some retailers may not have him yet just because they're waiting off. It is a November release. He looks really cool. He's got the soft goods cloak. Looks really cool. This guy's probably one of my favorite characters from Star Wars. I really do like the prequels quite a bit, and the fact that he comes with all of this is awesome. That Obi-Wan right next to him is super cool. So this is from the Revenge of the Sith version. I'm not sure what the versions are between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, but really, really cool that you're able to get that wired cape, and it looks like multiple lightsabers, and I think you're going to be able to do the 4 arms, which is really sweet. I don't know if we covered this when it was announced. We'll go through a couple of these here. There's just a lot. I feel like it's been a lot since I've went live and talked about, so I'm not sure what I have talked about before and what I haven't. Here is the new Goku coming out. This is the same the Games Begin version of Goku with the red on his gi there. I don't really like the red on the gi, but it is a cool Goku. I like the look of it. I think it looks really cool. It's going to be a base level Goku, $35, maybe even $45 with price increases, but I'm going to snag him for sure. Shows all the goods about it. I know you guys tell me a lot more about the 3.0, 2.0, all that stuff more than I pay attention, so you guys are definitely my knowledge wheel, and especially that Discord as well. But I'm definitely going to grab this one. It looks super cool. Then you got Yugi coming, which I think is a huge one. I never really was a big Yu-Gi-Oh guy. I was always a Pokemon guy. Yu-Gi-Oh was a little bit after my time. I started getting out of Pokemon, and then this kind of hit on the scenes. Digimon as well, I really wasn't big into, but I think this is a huge character. I think a huge win for Tamashii. They're able to add Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh, or Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh, which is super huge. They've been doing the monsters for a while. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then the Dark Magician and all that. Like, just having Yugi next to those SH Monstars is really, really cool. Monster arts need to be a thing. I just said Monstars like I was watching like Space Jam. So let's hit some comments real quick and then we'll keep going. There's a lot more news I want to hit up real quick. Let's see. Size 427 says, Yo Snook, what's good? I mostly collect TFs, but I do have a ton of Dragon Ball figures. Looking forward to Daima, Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta, and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Yeah, they look really sweet. I'm really hoping, Scythe, personally for me, I didn't do the minis. I thought the minis didn't really hit it for me, but if they make a grown version of that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in the big form from the final episode or 2, I'll definitely buy the adult version. I skipped on the minis for now. I have a handful of the Daima figures. I bought base Goku, regular Super Saiyan Goku, base Vegeta, base Piccolo, and I believe Goma. And I kind of stopped there. This whole situation, what we're going to get into after we get through the new releases, has kind of hindered my collection and kind of shared it up. And I'll hit a little bit more about that, but I definitely didn't go for the minis for those, because I think they're going to make the adult versions, and I like the adult versions a little bit more. So, I don't know about tariffs-ish. It's pretty already pricey, but cancellations are another story. Oh yeah, for sure. We'll get into it for sure. That now sec, yeah, dude, Snail, Piccolo with a coat, and Scarf. Yeah. Yep, pretty much. Hopefully not more than a few months. Gotta let Orange Man cook, for sure. UIA Luffy, hell yeah, or Beast Luffy. Man, if they make like Bounce Man or Snake Man, that's really what I want. I love Gear 5, and I'm glad they made it, and it made sense because that's what was going on in the medium at the time of when they brought One Piece to the SH Figuarts collection and brought it into the line. But now they're starting to go back doing, they're starting to do, they're starting to do like little older ones. So East Blue Luffy, maybe we'll get like one of those Target exclusive, like Kaioken Gokus, but it's going to be like Gear 2 where it's the same figure, but maybe his skin's a little bit redder. Maybe we'll get something like that, which will be kind of cool. But who knows? Mars is in the house. What's up, Mars? Yo, who do you will be this year? Exclusive SCC. Oh, those shells are swapped. Looks nice. What do I think the SDCC and YCC Dragon Ball related one will be? I think they'll just be repaints. I don't think you'll get anything exclusive, to be honest. And that's just because I think for where they're at right now, I just don't think it really hinders them or warrants them to make, I don't know, like new figures, because you've got the nail and you've got the Zarbon, but you really haven't heard anything else. Maybe that's when you'll hear, maybe around those times, maybe more closely to SDCC. Maybe you'll hear more announcements of stuff coming. Maybe that adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku from Daima or something like that. But yeah, for sure. The shelves are swapped. Looks nice. Fired. Thanks, buddy. It's probably because it's mirrored. Because look, yeah, it's just mirrored, and it's the way I don't know. It's just the way I do it. I mirrored the image. Collectibles, I'm here and washing my car simultaneously. Awesome. LOL. Hey, no problem, Crest. Thanks for being here. Big shout out to you, buddy. Bar says thanks. The music is vibing too. Yeah, do we gotta have a little bit of light music on there? We've been trying to do, I don't know what happened. We did a couple of live streams where we co-streamed to both to Twitch and also YouTube. Right now I'm trying to do that right now, but for some reason it's just not working. I'm having issues when it's coming to streaming, so we're only streaming it here on YouTube. So just trying to change stuff up, trying to make it fun, trying to make it entertaining, so you're not just hearing my voice, maybe a little spice in the background. So, but oh yeah, OTC, brother, OTC. So, all right, so let's get back to some of these real quick, and then we'll get into the subject. But yeah, Yugi coming, looks super sick. I'm super excited for all the Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there, dude. It looks super great. I just hope they do this figure justice. We have no QC issues. Hopefully it doesn't come from Taiwan. Hopefully it comes from the Chinese factories, because it seems like they do a lot better. But yeah, I couldn't explain anything of this to you, but the impact right there looks super sweet. His jacket looks sweet. Dual Master, I want to call it. Is that called Dual Master? I don't know. A whole bunch of hands with different cards in them, which is awesome. And then of course you got 5 face plates, and I hope that necklace is a little loose and being able to swing around. I think that would be really, really nice. So the last big thing we'll talk about, I'll hit this on real quick. Chainsaw Man figures out there. A new Chainsaw Man's coming October 2025. This is a jeans with his shirt open version. This is gonna happen. This is gonna be from the scene straight out of oh, this is actually from the new movie coming out. It says Chainsaw Man the movie, Chainsaw Rize arc. If you have not experienced the Rize arc from the manga, the Bomb Girl arc, it's fantastic. It's probably one of the best arcs remaining in part 1. So that's going to be really, really cool. But this is from that. It kind of reminded me of when he first went Chainsaw Man as well in the first episode, because he was in his regular clothes. He wasn't wearing the black slacks and the tie and all that. So, but this is apparently from the movie, coming out in October. April 2025 is for pre-order. I haven't seen this one out on those other. I haven't seen them out there on your regular retailers yet, but I don't know. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait to see what happens with all this stuff. We just need an answer. Whatever that answer is going to be, we need an answer. All right. So, and then the other big one. This should be the last big. Oh wait, there's one more. And I'm kind of excited about this one. I don't know if I'll get it, but we do have another Hashira coming from the Demon Slayer line. This is Shinobu Kachu. I don't remember how to say her last name. September of 2025. Pretty cool. Another Hashira. They're moving forward in the Demon Slayer line. It's very, very tempting, especially later down the line. If I can get all the Hashira, man, I would almost want to be right there to have all the Hashira. But with our current situation, I don't know. I have not fully committed yet. I think I have an idea, but I'm not fully committed. Demon Slayer may not make my figure collection, honestly. But the big news, let's get to this one, and then we are going to jump into comments. We're going to talk about the cancellations. We'll talk about what I have pre-ordered, what my mentality is, what I think the future holds for collecting, and like the whole landscape of it. So the big thing right here is I'm super excited, not just for this figure. I don't think I'm going to buy this figure because it's not the version of a franchise I want, but we are getting Char from the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. The Red Comet is coming. He's super awesome. I love the fact that we're going to be able to get the Gundam pilots. Like, this to me is astounding. I cannot wait. If this really catches fire, them, if they ever hit into the Gundam wing line, Meliardo, Hiro, Duo, Troa, Katra, you know, all of those, like the pilots getting trays would be super awesome, and I would buy every single one of them. I would even buy our, oh God, is her name Ariana? I don't remember the girl, the main girl. I can't remember her name, but like I would buy every single one of the Gundam wing figures for sure. But starting with Char, which I think is a huge character in the Gundam universe for everybody, is going to be super cool. And coming out with this figure is a huge win for Tamashii. I just kind of hope they keep going throughout them. Maybe hit a little bit of seed, maybe hit some G, go into wing, and really see what it's going to do for them. But quite a bit of stuff. You got 5 faces, a handful of hands. Looks like the helmet part does not design to come off, so he doesn't have his hair, so it's just going to be his helmet. And then it's going to be a replaceable, like, I don't know, tiara looking thing, which is pretty cool. Huge news with that one. And then of course they showed, which I don't think this is his Gundam. So this is the Char's Zaku 2. This is his specific Gundam that Char pilots. I think they put this one out there just to show it. This is the origin color version of this figure, but it's the Gundam Universe figure. I don't know if you guys know about Gundam Universe. Basically, it's $25 version. It's like the Dragon Stars of the Gundam figures, but Tamashii actually makes them. I have a lot of the wing versions of these Gundams. They're okay. They do feel a lot cheaper, but I mean, if they ever made, you know, Tamashii ever made the Gundams, I just don't know if they would be as cool or as feasible as if you just went and got, you know, the master grade kits, painted them all up metal and snapped them together. I think that would be a cooler option. But if you don't have time for that or don't want to paint them, $25, $30. I think Wing Zero and Epion are coming out. They're considered deluxe versions of those characters. They're going to be at $35, and I feel like that's pretty reasonable. I can get the figure in, I can open the box, I don't really have to worry about it and putting it together. But they are making an exclusive version to Target. This is the Char's Zaku 2, the origin color version. So pretty sick. Let's see. Better than the Revoltech, the Revolt Tech value wise. Yeah, for sure. A to the B to the Z, aka Donut Lord. What's going on, Donut Lord? Thank you for being here. Thanks for jumping in, saying hello. It is a Friday night. We are finally streaming again, which I got some big news if you guys care to hear. Yeah. So he says, the Donut Lord says, I think SH Figuarts' future Gohan would come with a base form head and faces and a Super Saiyan head and some Super Saiyan faces, detachable arc detachable arm, I think is big. I mean arm and thing. Detachable arm for both or one and a Kamehameha effect. So if they make future Gohan, I don't know. I think it will happen eventually. I think the version of Gohan for future is so popular, but there was a weird shift. So when Dragon Ball Z first started making the movie villains, it almost seemed like it was like clockwork. Like they announced Turles, and then once Turles released, they announced I think it was Cooler, and then after Cooler Reverse, they did this and that, and I think they made a misstep, and I don't feel like they've got the perfect amount of information when it came to those movie villains, because they did Metal Cooler, and it was the like the chromed out version. They made it $120. I didn't like the figure. It's probably my least favorite figure in my collection. Plus, a lot of people bought it because it was $120. So I think I think they skewed by doing something too weird and too out there. If they would have just made that figure $80, just did like a metallic paint, not a chrome plated, and it was around 80, I think a lot of people would have jumped on it and they would have saw the success of the movie villains and kept going with them. Since that figure, we haven't got any more villains or any other movie franchise stuff outside of like Dragon Ball Super Hero and Daima and all the stuff that's in the hype here right now. I would love for them to go back, but the days of them doing a future Gohan with a base form head and a Super Saiyan head and all that, I think that day's kind of gone. What they could do, since they're creeping back into the Android saga, and well, hopefully, I mean, we just got Nail and we got Zarbon, so maybe they'll never get out of the Namek saga, who knows. But if they go back into the go back to the Android saga, this would be a great opportunity to re-release 18 and 17, but don't do them in the mainline storyline. Do it from that future the future storyline, and then that way you could bring a Trunks, you could bring, you know, the younger Trunks, you could bring Bulma from that universe, you could bring future Gohan. And I think that if they do that, I think Gohan will be that catalyst where 18 and 17 and Trunks and Bulma will all come with pieces. I think that's kind of what they normally do pretty consistently. Is there's always that catalyst, like Luffy's that catalyst right now in the One Piece line. Almost every single figure that you buy for One Piece comes with something for a Luffy. And I think that would be the case when it comes to Gohan. I think would be that centerpiece, and they just never have shown the forward trajectory of ever doing a base head Super Saiyan head in a long time. I think the last one that was like that I can remember was the Gohan from the Great Saiyaman Gohan, because he came with the full helmet head, he came with the bandana head with the sunglasses and the Super Saiyan head. So there was a lot of options in there, and I just don't think they do that anymore, because I think they look at options. Like if I give them this version of Gohan and I just give them the base, maybe I can sell a different one to them that has a Super Saiyan head, or put it in another box. And that's pretty prevalent with the way they're going. Now, if it's a side character like Monster Zarbon or Dodoria or a Zen, or like a Captain Ginyu or something, they're pretty much just going to give you everything possible, because they don't plan on making 100 Captain Ginyus. You can't. He's isolated to one part of the story. But with Gohans, they are so big into selling off those figures to the point where, like, you know, like you mentioned it right there, and I'm right there with you. If they made a future Gohan, I would absolutely buy it, and I would have to have the Super Saiyan head. I would need the Trunks. I would need the 17 and 18 from that universe. I would even want the Bulma for that universe. But just allowing those options, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think it's very unlikely just with their future. But I'm right there with you. If they made a future Gohan, I would end the stream right now and pop on and purchase that figure. So yeah, Donut Lord, I am right there with you. That'd be sick. Mar says looks clean. Yeah, dude, that Char looks super clean. Leon says Garlic Jr. buff version would be an awesome release. Yeah, dude, I think they should do a 2-pack with that one. I think they should do Garlic Jr. like almost like kind of like they've done with oh my god, Burger and Goldo, or Tien and Chaosu. Like, do the big version, like make him as big as like the Jiren. I don't think he needs to be super huge. He doesn't need to be King Cole size. Just make him as big as the Jiren, and then give us like a Chaosu side Garlic Jr. Do a 2-pack, get Garlic Jr. out of the way. For all those people that don't like Garlic Jr., it'd be an easy pass. There wouldn't be 2 figures, but you would get a premium Bandai setup right there. Boom. It is all versions of Garlic Jr. Get out of the way, which is kind of the reverse of kind of what I was saying with Goku or Gohans. Is like, you know you're gonna buy the Gohans, you know you're gonna buy the Gokus, they know you're gonna buy the Vegetas. They're mass produced at 100,000, 100,000 units at a piece, while Garlic Jr. might be a lower count at like 10 or 15,000. But no, Garlic Jr. buff version would be awesome. I would love those. I would love for them to go back to the originals, like give us was his name Dr. Waldo, the guy from the World's Strongest. We have Turles, like maybe a couple of guys from his gang. The two guys, I can't remember their names, but the three guys from Garlic Jr.'s gang from the Dead Zone would be super freaking sick. So while we're at this point, before we get into the other topic, if you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like on the stream if you're enjoying it, or if you come up with any information. If you guys have any questions for me as we go through here, definitely hit a comment. We'll read it out loud. I just appreciate everybody being here and hanging out and talking about this subject. So let's talk about the bad stuff. So I've got a couple statements I want to read. Craft Collects dropped this on our Discord. If you guys aren't part of our Discord, it's a whole thing where it's called Collect Together. You join, you bring your positive knowledge and or appetite to learn with positivity and bring it to the Discord. If you guys are interested, leave me a comment in the chat and I can drop the link if you're not already a part of that. Let's pop onto here. I think I can go. Let's do this one. Okay, so Hobbygeki dropped a statement. This is from Craft Collects, dropped this on our Discord. And I'm not going to read everything, but I will skim it here. It says, due to the recent U.S. international shipping regulations, Hobbygeki is temporarily suspending FedEx shipments to the United States. All orders placed with the FedEx option before April 19th will be automatically switched to DHL, UPS, and Japan Post. For parcels that are declared over 800 USD, we will contact you directly requesting necessary information to process with shipping. So basically what this means, in the meantime, our team is here to help. Please visit the dedicated US tariff section on our contact page for assistance. So basically what they're saying is, Hobbygeki is not stopping. They're not stopping shipping. They are suspending just through FedEx alone. They're going with alternatives through Japan Post, DHL, and UPS. And that is because of how the customs are going to work and how they're going to come in. I don't know if I like the concept for parcels that are declared over 800 USD. They'll contact you. I would much prefer, if I pay you X amount, if it is going to be more, even $1 more than X amount, you contact me before I ship it, because nothing is going to frustrate you more, especially getting an SH Figuarts in. Maybe, you splurge a little bit, you get a big one at $120, and then they come back and then they ship it. Hobbygeki will ship it. When it gets to US Customs, they will, that's when you're going to get charged the surplus. Hobbygeki is not going to pay that tariff. Neither is the company that's receiving it. That is going to be you, and that's usually how that happens. The tariffs come down no matter how they are spread across, the end user always has to pay for those. So I think $800 is excessive. I think that's really high, unless, for me reading this, because I did read this completely whole earlier, unless it means like it surpluses over $800. Like, I don't understand. I guess I don't understand at all after reading this. Like, to me, anything goes over $800, because like, I think it needs to be a percentage. If something is XY percentage, because if you're talking something's $100 and there's 140% tax from China, so that thing's $240 now. Like, that's how that works. And I don't know if going over 800. So like, if I buy a $100 figure and it's 140% and it's $240 now, they're not going to contact me for stuff. Are they just not going to charge? Are they going to eat those costs because of everything that was before April 19th? Are they going to eat that cost? Because I really don't know how Hobbygeki is going to, how they're going to survive that with eating costs. I doubt they're going to do that. Upon request, we can hold your order in our warehouse at no extra cost and with no time limit until a suitable shipping solution becomes available or the situation returns to normal. So they are giving you the option to hold on to your pre-orders over there. I don't know. And they said at, no time limit. I mean, eventually, I don't want to be a pessimist with this situation. But I don't see any world where this is going to be ever stopped. I think it won't be as extreme right now. I think the way that, not to get political, but the way the two parties are fighting and how this are, there's always a drastic, and a drastic back, and then they finally come to terms because they realize it doesn't work. But I don't think it will go to zero like it was before. I think there will be some sort of tariff when it comes to our imported goods. So maybe an $80 figure will eventually be a $100 figure. I don't think this will ever go back to quote quote normal. I think there will be some sort of thing. I just don't think it will be the extreme percentages that they're talking about now. We don't have a lot of answers, and in day to day these percentages change. And really anything that I have gotten in lately, my Tsunade, I got Shikamaru, I got Shanks, I got all those, and I got those from Kappa. I haven't heard anything from Kappa or how they're handling the situation or what they've been told, but pretty much everything that I have experienced with this situation right now is we're still in a waiting period. So anything that's, I think, and I said this earlier, when it comes to stuff that is July or later, I think that's really when you're going to get impacted. Maybe early June, you'll be fine. Maybe mid to late June is when it will really start. Maybe here in a couple weeks it will start. I'm not sure. But I've only got a handful of things pre-ordered right now. There are, we'll get this message off here. There are companies out there that are actually completely stopping. Like, I have seen them that they're just not shipping to the US right now. They can't take the hit. They can't take the loss of income. A lot of people are going to buy from them because of the stuff. And it's the unfortunate side effect of what this tariff is going to do. And that's the thing people need to understand too. It's not just the figure collecting community, but it's so many services along. I mean, the Nintendo Switch 2 was impacted, and Nintendo delayed the pre-order for United States by a week or two, I think. And when that came out, Nintendo sat down and was talking about it. With the tariffs, they decided to eat those costs. That's how they handled the situation, is they ended up eating the cost Nintendo did and didn't raise the price here in the US. And I don't know, but every other controller and the camera and this and that, everything outside of launch, outside of the main console itself and 2 games, the Donkey Kong game and I think the Mario Kart game, I think those are the only 3 that were not affected. I think they're eating the costs to hope to get people invested in that. And that's the thing, it's going to affect consoles, it's going to affect video games, it's going to it's going to affect the figures, anything you import, Tamo, all those kind of things. Please use a keyframe frequency for 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframes are, I don't know what this means. Are you guys having issues over there when it comes to the stream? I'm getting an error message over here on YouTube. But I'll keep going if just give me a thumbs up, somebody. I don't want to keep going if there's an error. Ugh. I'm kind of talking and just rolling. I don't know what that means. Please use a key. Interesting. So maybe Storm is a thing too? Okay. I'm not getting any answers, so I'm not sure how the stream's going, so I'm gonna give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. Stream looked fine. Like, it didn't seem like it was buffering too much, so I'm not completely sure what the health message was. But anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, we were talking about the tariff stuff. So with that impact, it's not impacting just the figure collecting community, but it's affecting everything when it comes to imports as a whole. And that, I mean, that's going to put a dire on a lot of people's collections. Mine personally, I think a lot of people are getting ready for the hammer to drop, lack of a better word or phrase. Myself, I've kind of done it. I'm like, okay, so I want Blackbeard from One Piece. I've been reading One Piece. I'm on volume 52. I read a volume of One Piece, if not every day, every other day, if I'm not reading something different. So I'm really enjoying it, and I want Blackbeard. Okay, well, that's a $206 figure, right? So I've got to save my money and be financially responsible to pick up a $200 figure. Well, what I could do is put on a credit card and pay it over time and pay interest on top of that. Or I could be the responsible party here and realize, okay, I really do like Kaiju number 8. I really do like Demon Slayer. However, do I like those figures enough over One Piece to continue that line and sacrifice another one? It's the unfortunate part of dropping a particular line to continue another one if these things do go. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I don't understand how companies are going to survive from this. You know, Big Bad Toy Store, we'll go over to them real quick because they have a statement. They actually literally have a FAQ on tariffs, which I think it would be really insightful for us to read a little bit of it. I won't read everything to you. I'm not going to be your story time person, but still, FNF Crafts, cool. Still clean that car. So, what are tariffs and how do they affect the toy business? Tariffs are a tax on imported products. 25 years, Big Bad Toy Store has operated a family-owned business under a 0% tariff rate in the last few months. Tariffs are imposed on products imported in nearly every country. These tariff rates have been changing rapidly. Initially set to 10% and then risen multiple times, and currently 145% of Chinese goods. Vietnam has also been subject to a 46% tariff within 90 days. These two countries manufactures 90% of the goods we sell. So Big Bad Toy Store is going to be very, very impacted by this situation. Hustle us in. What up, Snook? What up, Mars? What up? What's going on? Mars was here in the chat. I don't know if he is currently, but we're kind of going over the FAQs of what Big Bad is talking about when it comes to tariff stuff. And we're kind of talking about how this will impact everything going forward, channels, your own collection. So foreign governments do not pay these tariffs because the US-based companies who import these goods are directly responsible for paying the tariffs. Some of all these costs are then passed to the retailers. Ultimately, US-based customers pay the tariffs through higher product prices. So that's what I'm talking about. So foreign governments don't pay the tariffs. So like China, when they're shipping their products to us, like they're not going to stop shipping the product to you. Like if Big Bad Toy Store is ordering so much product from China sends it, they'll be like, yeah, I'll send you 100, 3,000, 3 million units, whatever you want, because the foreign government is not paying it. The US government is implementing the tariffs, almost kind of a penalty to buying goods outside the United States. So the US-based companies who import these goods are directly responsible for paying it. So if Big Bad Toy Store orders something from, say, Tamashi directly from Japan. Oh God. So they're going to put an order with Tamashi. Tamashi's going to ship it in. Most of Tamashi SH Figuarts are assembled in China. Some are in Taiwan. And some are in Vietnam. So when they come in, Big Bad Toy Store is going to pay the tariff of those goods. So those percentages, I'm not completely sure on how much that impacts and how those percentages break down, but 145% from 0 seems like a lot. So, and then basically what they do to get their money back for those tariffs, they charge you. They always go back to the end user. That's the end of the day. How will these tariffs affect product prices? The tariffs apply to all products imported from affected countries. These include virtually all new and open pre-orders. Products already in our inventory prior to the tariff in stock are not affected, although additional product we bring in our in-stock inventory could be. So basically, what it's saying, if they have these figures already, they're not gonna increase their prices, which I think is a really good thing. Why would I charge you a tariff price if I already got the product in? I think that's really good for Big Bad to do that, because they could simply be like, okay, well, we have 50 units of this figure, we're gonna get 50 more in. Well, right now, until we get those 50, we're not gonna charge the tariff on it, which I think is really good and honorable. They could have easily been like, oh, okay, well, this Spider-Man Maximum, we're getting it from China. It's going to cost us from Hasbro, it's a 40% increase for the tariffs. Well, we're just going to go ahead and take what we have in stock. If we get more in, we'll just raise the price now. That way we can ultimately not go under business. We'll skip a couple things. When will the prices change on pre-orders in effect, and how will they communicate it? Because tariffs are changing so quickly, you have decided to list pre-orders on a non-tariff price and a note saying exclusive tariff surplus or surcharge. Once you receive the item and know that the final tariff amount, the surcharge will be applied. Customers will be notified of the final price, including the tariff surcharge, before their payment is processed, and be the opportunity to cancel the pair at the time. See, and that's another awesome thing that I feel like Big Bad Toy Store is really handling. Like, they are pricing to what it would be, not counting the tariff. And the reason they're doing that is because these percentages are fluctuating consistently. So if it's 40% today when they're supposed to get their shipment, but their shipment doesn't come in, but tomorrow it's 25%, like, I don't think it's going to be that drastic, but it happens that come in, then they'll pay and they'll know what to mark their product. And I think that's pretty awesome, because they could just blanketly be like, okay, it's a Chinese product, 150%. We're just going to assume it's that. It comes in lower, and it doesn't really vibe that way. So I really think the way that they're taking the approach here is really, really honorable. They're not canceling things, but there are companies out there that are just like, nope, not doing it, not shipping it to you, especially when it comes to the import sites, because the import sites are sending it to you and they're not going to deal with that crap. They don't want to deal with customs. They don't want to deal with that, and all that kind of stuff. So, and they're giving you the option to cancel, which I think is honorable as too, which ultimately leads to the next subject. We're going to kind of stop talking about how the tariffs work and who implements them and who pays for them. It's the U.S. making it. The U.S. people are paying for it, basically, to round out that whole subject. So the other thing too is, like, how's this going to affect companies? So Big Bad's doing a really awesome and I think a solid thing of allowing people to cancel their pre-orders and really second guess, okay, I liked this product at $40, but maybe not at 60 or whatever that price increase is, and giving you a heads up, being like, hey, I know you pre-ordered that product. Well, it's going to actually cost this now. Are you still cool with that? And if you're like, no, I don't want to do that, they're giving you an option to cancel it and not charge you any money, which is really cool for the consumer, but it's terrifying for the retailer. I cannot imagine what Big Bad Toy Store's emergency meetings have been like, because like they said on their website, 90% of their business is through toys, through retailers that are based in China or Vietnam. So, like, if you are going in and you got to do what's best for you, and you end up canceling, but so does 100,000 other people, potentially this could hurt the bottom line and the integrity of these businesses. Now, I don't think Big Bad is going to go anywhere. I think they're too big and too established, and I think people will niche down and still buy things at these tariff prices, just not as much. What I'm really worried about is all the little mom and pop shops. Like, I'm not sure how big Kappa is. I really love them and I support them. I talk about them all the time. Like, I'm not sure how those guys will really survive this way. I hope it's not as extreme as we thought, but you know, I really hope that whatever is going on, the U.S. government and all the other countries, they kind of figure their stuff out, because at the end of the day, what is getting, I understand the processes, and not to get political about it, but at the end of the day, the American people are paying for it, the American companies are paying for it, and it's kind of hurting everybody as a whole. I understand why, but at the same time, it's just, we're hurting, we're paying for it, and these companies, some of these companies could not make it. I kind of lightly talked about this in Mar's stream last night, is, you know, when COVID-19 came out, I mean, there are still businesses that died because of COVID and because of the shutdowns. They still haven't recovered. They were too small, or they were just starting out, and it killed their business. Like, there's so many of these incidents that are seeming like they're popping up that are just eradicating these entrepreneurs and these other options, because the best thing about this area is the level of competition. You don't have to go to Big Bad. You don't have to go to Target. You don't have to go to Walmart. Everybody sells this stuff, and they're competitive with it. So, and the freedom of choice, when who you buy from, if you want to import it, all that. And I think this is ultimately what's going to hurt these companies. And if for my situation, so I mainly right now, I collect Dragon Ball Z, I collect SH Figuarts, One Piece, Naruto, Kaiju, Demon Slayer. I have Yusuke. I have not bought Togoro yet. I haven't decided to go down that road. I only have the Yusuke. I don't have the Togoro. But I'm even sitting back and I'm like, okay, wait. So, and I also get the NECA TMNT stuff. I'm not sure where that's made. But like, I sat back and was like, okay, what do I really like? What do I need to do? Because I can't spend X percent more on what I'm already buying. I've already kind of made a decision with Kaiju number 8. Unless they make the new form of Kafka of Kaiju number 8, Kafka, the human form version, will be the last Kaiju number 8 figure I buy. That's my favorite character. Now, if I already had Kafka in it, it was like Vice Captain or Mina coming out, I probably could. I honestly probably, my mental would allow me to skip it. But because it's my favorite character from the show, I kind of want to get it, and I feel like I would be okay unless they made, like I said, the new form. And I'm not going to spoil the new form. It happens in later chapters, like around 120 in the manga. But if they ever made that, I think I would jump on it. And but in that, it's going to be, it's done. Okay? So, but it comes to Demon Slayer. I have all 3 Demon Slayers. I have Giyu, I have Tanjiro, and I have Nezuko. Well, they're making Goku, they're making Shinobu, they're making Akaza. I'm sure they'll make the Stone Hashira, Wind Hashira, the Snake Hashira, the Love Hashira, like Mizuri, like all of them as well. And it's like, do I love the anime or the manga enough to buy all those figures, to pay the increased prices? I don't know. I really wasn't happy with the price of Giyu and Nezuko. I thought Tanjiro was criminally cheap. Like, he was $35. He should have been like a $50 figure. So I thought, the entry point to get in, but it was such a good figure. And I think they kind of compensated it with the other 2. I think Giyu was like 75. I don't think he was 75. I would have rather paid 50 for both rather than 75 and 35. But okay, now I take the same figure, but it's Rengoku, and now it's 90 rather than 75. It's $15, but yeah, that's $15 per figure, per line, per this, per that, and Nickel and Dina. So I am still struggling with where I want to go when it comes with Demon Slayer. It's still right there. NECA TMNT, I have consciously made a decision that I am keeping my Turtles, and I'm keeping Shredder, my Rocksteady Bebop. I'm gonna get a Krang if I can ever find one. Everything else, if you're looking for TMNT stuff, I have it listed on Macari. If you're interested in that, I can send you my Macari. But I pretty much have every double set, every single character, and I just feel like, okay, I love this series. but I don't need all of this. So making the conscious decision to move, to not only end, but also move on from some of my pieces when it comes to TMT. You know, same thing with, I have the retro card Spider-Man stuff. I don't know, that might be on the chopping block. They're worth $25 to me, but if they're 35, 40 bucks a piece now, I don't think it's worth it. I bought the Kingpin. It was 40 bucks. He's a bigger character. Yeah, he's sure, he's heavy. I don't know if it was 40 bucks worth. Like, I don't know. I kind of regretted it. Regret's a strong word, but like, I was just like, I don't know if this was worth that money. So that's where we got to wrestle. And I think that's going to lead us into our next part of this 3-part leg, I guess. I don't know what you want to call this. Let's read some comments real quick, because we do have a couple comments. One from Hustle SM, new subscriber to the channel. Thank you so much, buddy, for being here. It was great to talk to you last night in Mars's chat. But it says, the prices will never be the same even when the tariffs go away. Exactly. This will never stop, but I do think it won't be as extreme. I think they are definitely doing the dick measuring contest right now between countries. They're always throwing out extremes right now. But I think they'll level off, but they will never be the same. Christmas, I agree with Hustle. The prices might change, but they've seen the last $34.99 retail Figuarts. But if there's a character I need and I want and not want, I'll make adjustments for display. Yeah, for sure. Like, you'll make adjustments. You'll change the way you do things. Yeah, exactly. As collectors, we just enter a cherry picker era. Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at. And you guys are right there with me. And I think it makes complete sense of what's happening here is, I mean, we start on the ground. We are collectors. That's what we are as a community. Like, we're going to still collect. We're still going to get the stuff we love. Dragon Ball Z is my heart and soul. I grew up with that. Is it the best anime? No, not to me, not by a long shot. But is it very special to me because it brings back memories of getting into those, like, into the genre, getting into anime as a whole, experiencing it with my brother when I was younger, getting excited because just doing such a good job at school or putting it all, and I'm exhausted. I come home, you get your after school snack, and you pop in that VHS because you recorded it. You know, back on the video recorder on Toonami because it aired at 3:30. You didn't get off the bus till 4:15. Like, I have details in my mind that I associate with that show so much that, yeah, I mean, whatever these prices are, like, there are prices. Like, I bought the metal cooler for $120. That figure was crap, but I still bought it because it was Z. Now, if I had my hands on the figure before, I wouldn't have bought it. But I bought the King Cold at $150. There's some people that I know that love Dragon Ball Z as much as me. Maybe I don't know, maybe as much, maybe not a little bit more. But they didn't buy the King Cold because it was $150. I understand when people get into those eras because they are so much when it comes to cost and worth. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, is it too expensive because of X monetary value? Well, the X monetary value is relative to the person. You may think $100 is expensive, while another person thinks, no, $500 is expensive. By the next person says, no, $1,000 is expensive. There are people on YouTube that collect $1,300 statues. My goodness, I don't understand how they own one, and they have hundreds. So, or Hot Toys. Hot Toys are really expensive to me. They're $300 to some Hot Toy collectors. It's just like, oh yeah, that's what they cost. You know, they may think they are expensive, but, you know, here's an example. You know, this guy right here is normally $110, right? This is a Mafex. This is 10 or 12. I think it's $12.99. You know, relative. Some people, there's so many people that collect Funko Pops, and I think why, I know a lot of people scoff at them and they hate them or whatever. They think they're ugly. And I get that. I understand it. It's not a complete one-to-one recreation. Like, the Z line never hit it for me. It wasn't that one-to-one creation. It wasn't what I saw off the page of the manga or saw off the screen when I was growing up as a kid. But the fact of the opportunity is somebody can own their favorite character. So, you know, say if, you know, Iron Man from Marvel Rivals is your favorite character to play, and they have all these different companies, but there's a $100 one, $150 one or a $10 one. This might be worth it to somebody because it's something they can have that means a lot to them because it's their favorite character from X game or X show, and this is what's relative to them. So I think that's the biggest thing to understand is the X value is not the important part. It's what you associate. And that kind of goes back to the beginning of the stream when we talked about nail. $95 is very expensive for a figure. I was willing to take the hit on nail because I wanted him because Z means so much. There are other people I know that didn't buy him. So just take that to account when it comes into, like Hustle said the freaking perfect thing. It says, we are entering a cherry picking era. Exactly. You are going to make accommodations and sacrifices in what you need to do to get what you want to collect. So I don't think that the channels, I don't think collecting as a whole is going to be in dire straits, because we're kind of in that with, if you guys are video games guys and you follow Nintendo and stuff, you're like the whole $80 Mario Kart $80 thing is a huge hot button item. I mean, I remember growing up and 64 games were $50. So in 1996, when the 64 was hot, $50, 96. It has been almost 30 years, and they've only gone up $30, $10 a decade. I feel like that's pretty crazy for, especially when you go to the movies. Like I went to go see Thunderbolts. By the way, if anybody seen Thunderbolts, freaking fantastic. I loved it. I got, it was $17 for me to go see that movie. $17. It was more to go to that movie than it was to buy that Funko. So, you know, I think video games, some video games, some, what do you call them? Like indie games are $20 and get hundreds of hours out of them. That movie was 17 for me to go see. So, Hustle says, I appreciate Funko Pops for what they are, and for that, I stay away from them completely. It's a wild rabbit hole to go down. Oh, absolutely. I used to go down the rabbit hole. I think this gives me a good opportunity to collect Marvel Rivals characters. I have pretty much every single Overwatch character this way. I don't have any of the boxes. I didn't care that much. I put them on a spice rack. I'm able to have all the characters. I think it was like 20 something at the time. So like $200, I could have all the characters rather than buying 2 characters for $200. Because I think Figma had Overwatch at the time. I think they were like 100, 110. And it's just a nice way for me to collect something I like, because I'm absolutely freaking addicted to Marvel Rivals. But it's just a way for me to connect into Marvel Rivals for fairly cheap. And I don't think anybody's making Marvel Rivals right now. And there's only 3 Funko Pops. There's Magneto, Iron Man, Magneto, and then a 6-inch Galactica. I only have the Iron Man and the Magneto. I'm looking for the Doom, and I'm looking for the Galactica. I'd like to get them on Amazon, but I don't think Amazon's getting Doom until like late May. But I digress. With that cherry picking community, like Hustle talked about, is going to lead us into possibly loss of channels. I hate to say it, and I hate to see it coming, but it honestly might cripple some channels that they collect, or they may change their content. All I would ask is, if you like the content creator for who they are, stick with them. Maybe they'll go into a different avenue of something that you may not like. For me personally, I love collecting. I love live streaming. This is probably my favorite thing, talking about just nerdy crap in general. I read a ton of manga. Maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe you don't read manga. At some point, I'm going to make a manga video. It's just going to happen because I like it. Still going to do figure stuff, but I'm also going to do manga stuff. Watch it for the creator because you enjoy the creator, but unfortunately, I think a lot of creators will take a hit with this just because they are having to niche down, so they can't do a lot of variety of figures, so they're going to have to niche down, and I think that's going to cause a lot of strain on people, financially, if they try to keep up with what they've got going on, or if what happens there. But I don't know, it's kind of like what happens in my mind when it comes to, you know, the shit rolls downhill. I mean, lack of a better word, you know, this is starting, things are getting more expensive. So, I know people that love Nintendo and didn't buy the Switch because it was so expensive. So, I'm here for it. Evolution is key. Absolutely. Find the people that you connect with on a level, and that's why I like doing this, guys. Like, live streaming with you guys is freaking awesome because I can just sit down, we can chat it up, talk about this, we can talk about that. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, the Thunderbolts movie, hey, I understand the team may not be the sexiest. Bucky's cool. You know, everybody loves Bucky, but dude, that movie made me cry. It was fantastic. I loved it. It's probably the best Marvel movie since Endgame, for sure. It's a tighter knit story, so it's not so as fantastical as Spider-Man No Way Home. But I think as a whole, for meaningfulness to me, I would say that Thunderbolts was more meaningful to me than Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I collect the comic every month. I'm a huge comic nerd too. So, evolution is key, just like Hustle said. But if you guys got any questions, we're gonna do a little bit of just a short stream tonight. We only did about an hour tonight. I want to get back into the rhythm. My exciting news, which is also probably not exciting news for you guys, is the house is getting started here soon. So that project's gonna start ramping up. I did buy this. I don't know if I showed you guys. We got a new camera. So I think this makes me have to film videos. Not that you guys would want to see videos, right? So, but new camera. So a lot of changes coming up. Live streams. Just gotta give you guys a heads up what I'm thinking. Put all my brain on the page here. Live streams will stick to once a month. So there will be one in the early part of June. I'll announce it a good week or so in advance. I think Mars and I are gonna start trying to do co-streams. Every so often, maybe every month, if not every 2 months. Try to at least get a co-stream in there. And then when we get over to the new place, we're settled, and we're rocking and rolling, I'd like to get up to twice a month streaming and get that rotation happening. No promises. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna put out what I can. I'm gonna put it out when I can. But I definitely love this live streaming thing. I really appreciate everybody stopping in. If you haven't already, put a like on the stream. If you're new here, subscribe, join the Discord. It's in the link at the top of my channel. It's called Collect Together. It is a community based for anybody that's worth in collecting. Whatever you collect, it does not matter, from Hasbro to SH Figuarts, from anime to fighting. If you guys want to check out that live stream from last night, if you have not seen it, go over to Mars's channel and watch it from last night. We talk all about Evo, a lot about fighting stuff. So if you're into Street Fighter, Tekken, all that kind of stuff, Mars schools me and lets me know all about what's going on over at Evo, which is happening right now in Japan. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I appreciate everybody that joined tonight. It has been an awesome time just getting back into the rhythm here. I didn't know if I was gonna make it. Earlier in the week I was a little bit sick, but look out for a live stream in the early part of June. In between that, look out for videos. We got a new camera, so I have to film videos, right? I gotta justify it. But until then, guys, leave a like, subscribe, and like always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.